Peace. Welcome back. This is Absolute, live and direct from the Absolute Boss Collective, coming at you with a brand new video. Today we're going to talk about fundamental analysis versus technical analysis. What do I use? What should you use? What do those terms mean? By the end of this video, you're going to completely understand what those terms mean and be able to put that straight to work in your own portfolio. Okay, before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, consider hitting that notification bell so you can know when I come out with new content to keep you on your toes. Okay, watch the videos, leave a comment, leave a question. Let's politic, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? This is the only way that we can all get forward. Here at the Absolute Boss Collective, we are all about empowering the viewer with the tools they need to obtain financial freedom. Okay? That's what it's all about, baby. And it starts one question at a time, man. Ain't no question that you can ask that is going to be considered a stupid question. We're going to answer them all, man. And we're going to prepare you to move forward and get that money, baby. That's what it's all about, man. Getting that money in the market, man. You can do it. I did it. You can do it. Okay? If you want to sign up with Webull and you want to put in $100 or more, there's a link below. You'll get 4 free stocks for doing that. Also, there's a link to my Patreon. Hit me up on Patreon. Visit me over there. There's some things that I'm offering. And it's all set up so that I can get you up to speed, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do here at the Absolute Boss Collective. And without further ado, let's get right into it. And I would like to quote the brother Rakim where he said, don't sweat the technique. All right? That's what we're going to be talking about. Technical analysis. Technical analysis, we'll start off there, is dealing with the price chart. What is the price chart saying? What are the indicators saying? And what are the oscillators saying? So when you talk about indicators and oscillators, that is talking about RSI, MACD, support and resistance, volume, chart patterns, bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing, channeling, all those different things is dealing with price action. Technical analysis is dealing with the price action and the historical perspective of price. When you hear the term support and resistance, support is where a stock tends to stop falling, and resistance is where a stock tends to stop rising. Now, you could look at that on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, or yearly basis. So depending on what time frame you're trading, like for myself, I'm a short-term trader. I'm a scalper. So I'm mainly looking at daily and weekly activity to get an idea of where to get my moves on. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you're an investor, okay, or if you have a longer time frame like a swing trader, intermediate term trader, or position trader, you may look at months and years worth of action to plot your strategy, okay? But technical analysis is dealing primarily with price action and the history of price. Conversely, fundamental analysis is dealing with the financials, the assets of the company, the management of the company, okay? I'll give you an example. Let's say a new sneaker came out. They were able to recruit Michael Jordan to be the manager of the company, okay? Now, what are people going to say? Michael Jordan is tied to one of the most successful brands ever, Nike and the Jordan sneaker. Okay, he's jumping ship. He's going somewhere else. Wow. This guy had a very successful sneaker in his namesake. The guy was a phenomenal basketball player. He used the sneakers. This is a good asset for this new company. Okay, that plays a part in fundamental analysis. Okay, cash flow. You look at a company like Apple. For years now, I've heard people, analysts and so forth, talk about Apple and talk about the amount of money they have on the books. Okay, what's really popping right now, what everybody, the word on the street is Apple and Apple's electric vehicle, right? They're supposed to be putting that into production. There's some talks with Hyundai and stuff like that. But when you look at someone who has that much cash on the books, right? They might be able to buy a car company to have their car made. Okay? They can acquire any other company and that's going to bring in more revenue to the company. Okay? You also want to look at the future profit outlook. So if we use that Apple example, okay? Apple comes out with this electronic vehicle, right? They buy a company so they don't have to worry about, either they buy a company or they go into a partnership with a company. They don't have to worry about building an auto plant. They just acquire that company that has an auto plant. Okay. Now we know how popular the iPhone is and MacBooks and all of those type of things. Okay, so this could be looked at as, wow, look at the potential for them. They could take on Tesla. They could knock out Tesla with this electric vehicle that they come out with. Okay, these are the type of things you consider when you're looking at fundamental analysis. You're looking at the industry that the company is in. You're looking at their competition. You're looking at the management of that specific company and what their track record is. How well have they retained profits, macroeconomic conditions. We're still in the throes of the pandemic, really. So when that pandemic hit, you've seen a lot of companies were affected, mainly mom and pop shops, especially mom and pop shops by your neighborhood restaurants. You might think of a little restaurant that you might have frequented with your shorty. Y'all might go there for dinners on Fridays and Saturdays. For a year now, y'all couldn't do that. And if they wasn't up to speed with DoorDash and Seamless and all of these type of things, and didn't have the capability to weather the storm of having all of their foot traffic eliminated, okay, that plays a part in that business. Okay, so macroeconomic conditions, industry analysis, future profit and outlook, company analysis. This is what fundamental analysis is. That's more based on a long-term type of thing. You look at all of this stuff and you can see the potential, you can see the history of the company, you can see how they're currently performing, and you can see their future growth potential. And you can make a decision on whether this is a sound investment. Is the price, is that stock price overpriced right now, or is it underpriced, or is it at fair value? Okay, and when you're looking at, there's two schools of thought when you determine whether the stock price is correct. And one of those schools of thought is fundamental analysis. And fundamental analysis has its root in that financial statement. What is this financial? What's the number saying, baby? That's what it's all about with financial analysis. Fundamental analysis, pardon me. Technical analysis is dealing with the stock chart, okay? The price chart, the price indicators, okay? It's basically how the stock has performed, okay? You'll have instances where the price chart or technical analysis does not support the fundamental analysis, okay? And an example of that is GameStop. GameStop, the price was driven higher by those cats over at Wall Street Bets who were attempting to push the price as high as possible to squeeze the hedge funds, right? Okay. Now, when you sat back and did the knowledge to it or analyze that situation, the price chart or the stock chart was saying one thing. It was going higher and higher and higher and higher. okay, that is going to technically tell a trader, not investor, a trader to buy that stock because it keeps pushing new highs. Now, conversely, an investor could look at that and see that the fundamentals for the company is no good. The company is on death's door. It's about to go bankrupt. Why would I invest in a company that's going bankrupt? Okay, so you'll have situations where technical analysis does not match fundamental analysis. Okay, those are exceptions to the rule. Because generally speaking, okay, the whole argument is this: fundamental analysis will tell you what that company is really worth. Okay, you have fundamentally sound companies where they don't have crazy price actions. Okay, they're slow and steady gainers over the years. They maintain price. They can withstand downturns in the market, but it's not a stock trader's darling, or it's not something that you hear about all the time. It's not on everybody's lips. It's a good, solid company, but the price action does not speak to that. See, price action is more, or technical analysis is more dealing with a short term type of situation. Me as a scalper, I'm looking at the short term. Okay. I'm looking at what happened on Monday. Okay. So that I can take advantage of it on Tuesday. And I'm out. That's it. Okay. But that is a short term type of trading. Okay, that's my style. That's what I do. Okay, now there's another side of me. I'm a Gemini. There's another side where I'm constantly on the lookout for that next big thing. Coming into this game, I done, looked at a lot of companies. One of my favorites to quote is Apple. Like, amazing story. Tesla is another amazing story. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these things, you look at the stock chart, it would just blow your mind. That thing has just been going up, 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 lower left to upper right, all for its whole history. So there's a part of me where I look at things like that and consider those type of investments in maybe one of my daughter's account, or maybe my retirement account, or when I build and politic with clients and friends and stuff like that, some of the recommendations that I might make as far as long-term investing goes. Okay. Another example of fundamental analysis, you take a company like McDonald's, right? If McDonald's were to go bankrupt, right? What analysts are going to look at is how much money can be raised by liquidating the company. So of course they got all of these grills, they got the refrigerators, they got shake machines, they got deep fryers, all of this stuff. But guess what? They got another little asset that a lot of us may not peep: the real estate. McDonald's has a lot of real estate. They have a lot of restaurants. They got a lot of real estate. That is a huge asset. Okay, that's money, baby. Okay, this is what you're looking at fundamental analysis. Okay, you look at McDonald's stock chart, it's not exciting to me. I've traded McDonald's before, but that's not something that I'm going to jump into on any given day in the week, because it's not going to move like that. It doesn't have a lot of volatility in the price. You see, I'm still coming at you with that technical analysis. That's where I come from. Okay? So, should you use fundamental analysis? Should you use technical analysis? I use them both, and I suggest that everybody use them both, depending on what your investment style is. Let me see if I can give you an example. With me, right, my bread and butter is made from scalping and trading, okay? And I have a particular target that I want to make on any given day, right? If I make my target for the day, sometimes I can make my target as the market opens. Sometimes I can even make it pre-market, depending on what's going on and what I'm holding. Okay. Once I make my target for the day, I start looking at the bigger picture, and I start looking at maybe some of these other interesting stories that are out there, these interesting companies that are, they have good growth potential. They pay a dividend. They're a nice, solid company. I start looking at those type of things. Okay. And then I will deploy capital according to that. You know what I'm saying? I may do it around earnings time too. Sometimes I like to play with earnings depending on where the technical analysis, the price chart is saying, and the fundamental analysis. If I get a very strong or some strong indications that I think a price is going to go one way or the other around earnings, I may trade that. But what am I going to trade? I'm going to trade companies that are fundamentally sound. Okay? Companies that have a history of maybe beating their earnings, stuff like that. I'm going to use fundamental analysis even in my regular trading. Once I get past, my paper chasing phase, which is usually like in the first hour and a half. Once I get past that, I'm going to start to look at discounts. If I see a certain stock is getting beat up and the fundamentals are telling me that this company is good, and that is supported with the price action or the technical analysis, I will use that in my decision on trading it or investing in it. So my recommendation to you is that you use both. Most people that are successful, they use both technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Okay. They work hand in hand, baby. Okay. But now you know what they mean. Fundamental analysis is all about that balance sheet. What is the company saying? A lot of companies look good in your imagination, in your picture. They present themselves well, but when you pull out that balance sheet, they're broke. Okay, technical analysis is dealing with the stock chart. So the stock chart, it could be going up and up and up and up and wonderful, but the company may not be any good. Okay. Now, another way to look at it, if a stock chart looks beautiful, okay, lower left to upper right, then more than likely it has great fundamentals. If it looks bad, it probably has bad fundamentals. Okay? But keep in mind, fundamental is more of a long-term phase. You're thinking about the long-term investing. Whereas technical analysis, what's happening right now? What is the chart saying right now? Okay? So they can work hand in hand. They do reflect each other. Okay? But they are two different schools of thought. Okay? One is based on the balance sheet. One is based on the stock chart. Okay? I use them both. Okay? And I suggest that you use them both. Okay? I hope that answers all your questions about technical analysis and fundamental analysis. And if it does not, hit a brother up down below in the comments and I'll get back at you, baby. This is Absolute signing off for the Absolute Boss Collective. Peace.